About a month had passed since that first sighting of my neighbor, and during that time, things grew stranger. The orange glow continued every night, always around 2 or 3 a.m., always the same faint silhouette in the window, standing there, unmoving, staring. Or at least, I felt like it was staring at me. I tried to convince myself that I was being paranoid. Maybe it was just their routine. Maybe they were night owls, insomniacs. I even told myself it was probably a floor lamp creating that silhouette. My mind was making it worse than it was. That worked for a little while. Then the noise started, asterisk at first. It was faint, asterisk a soft, low humming that I could barely hear through my closed bedroom window. Asterisk it sounded like chanting. Asterisk or singing, but there were no clear words, just a deep, rhythmic drone that seemed to come from inside their house. Asterisk, always. Around 2 a.m., always paired with that glow. I started sleeping with earplugs. I told myself it wasn't my problem, but things escalated about 6 weeks after I moved in. Asterisk one morning, I opened my front door to head to work and found a small wooden box sitting on my porch. Asterisk, no note, no label. I glanced across the street. Nothing, curtains drawn, no movement. The box was old, hand-carved with symbols I didn't recognize. Asterisk sharp lines, jagged edges, almost tribal looking. Asterisk against my better judgment. I brought it inside. Inside the box was a bundle of what looked like dried herbs, some kind of blackened feather, asterisk, and a small bone. I don't know what animal it belonged to. It was no bigger than my pinky finger, but the whole thing reeked of decay. I felt a wave of nausea hit me as I closed the box back up. Asterisk, was it some kind of prank? Asterisk, a message? Asterisk, a warning? Asterisk later. That evening, I walked over to Mrs. Hanley's house. Asterisk, I figured maybe she could tell me if this was some weird neighborhood thing. Asterisk, when I explained what I found, her face drained of color. Asterisk, you didn't open it, did you? She asked, almost whispering. I nodded. Oh, honey, you shouldn't have touched it. Asterisk, what do you mean? She looked behind me, across the street, and then back at me. Her voice dropped even lower. Asterisk, the Halloways. They've always been strange. That house, bad things happen there. Just stay away from them. I pressed her for more, but she refused to say anything else. That night, for the first time since I moved in, I didn't see the orange glow. Asterisk instead. The entire house across the street was completely dark, but I felt something. As I lay in bed trying to sleep, I had this heavy sense of being watched. Asterisk, you know that primal feeling when you just know someone's eyes are on you. My skin was crawling. At some point during the night, I woke up to a soft tapping noise. Tap, tap, tap. It was coming from my bedroom window. Asterisk, I didn't move at first. I just stared at the wall, my breathing shallow. My heart was pounding so hard I could hear it in my ears. Asterisk, after what felt like hours, the tapping stopped. Asterisk, but when I finally built up the courage to peek through my blinds, there was nothing there. Asterisk, or at least, that's what I told myself. Asterisk, because across the street, I noticed something new. Their front door was wide open. No light inside. Just complete blackness. And standing there, barely visible, was that tall silhouette again. Not moving, not blinking. Asterisk, watching. I'm not sure where to even start this story. Asterisk, I guess the beginning would be when I first moved into this neighborhood. Asterisk, it was about 8 months ago now. I had just finalized my divorce, and I was ready to get away from the city. Asterisk, the suburbs seemed like a safe, peaceful change of pace. The house was perfect, small, quiet, sitting at the end of a cul-de-sac with only 5 other homes. It was affordable too, which in hindsight should have been a red flag. The first few weeks were uneventful. I kept to myself. Asterisk spent my evenings unpacking, reading, catching up on sleep. Asterisk, but of course, you start to notice things when you live somewhere new, especially your neighbors. Across the street, there was this house that immediately made me feel uncomfortable. Asterisk, the house itself wasn't anything special. Single story. A bit weathered, overgrown bushes, chipping paint. Asterisk. But what bothered me was how little life seemed to come from it. Asterisk, for the first 2 weeks, I never saw anyone coming or going. The blinds were always drawn. No porch light, no movement in the windows. But every night around 2 or 3 a.m., a dim orange glow would appear behind the curtains in what I assumed was the living room. Asterisk, almost like candlelight. It was strange. I asked my next-door neighbor, a sweet older lady named Mrs. Hanley, about who lived there. Asterisk, she gave me a forced little smile and said, "The Halloways have been there for years. Keep to themselves mostly." That was it. She changed the subject pretty quickly after that. Asterisk, one night, maybe 3 weeks after moving in, I finally saw one of them. Asterisk, I was sitting on my porch around 9 p.m., sipping some coffee, just enjoying the cool autumn air. That's when the front door across the street opened for the first time. A tall, thin man stepped out. Asterisk, he was wearing an oversized coat, and his movements were stiff, like he wasn't used to moving much. Asterisk, he paused at the top of his steps for a moment and just stared into the night. Not at me, not at anything in particular, just into the dark. Then he slowly walked to his mailbox, retrieved nothing, and went back inside. No lights turned on. No sound. Asterisk, just that single moment. Asterisk, I tried to shake it off as just an eccentric neighbor, but something felt off. Asterisk, later that night, as I lay in bed, I couldn't help but peek through my blinds. The orange glow was back, and though it was too faint to see clearly, I swore I could make out a silhouette, standing motionless behind the curtain. Asterisk, it was facing directly toward my house. Not sure where to IGUS at the beginning would be when I first moved into this neighborhood. The next few days were quiet. Too quiet. No tapping. No humming. No glow. Just silence. But the absence of noise didn't bring me any peace. If anything, it made my anxiety worse. It felt like the calm before something worse. Asterisk, on the 4th night, around midnight, I heard my doorbell ring. A cold chill ran down my spine. Who would be visiting this late? I hesitated for a moment before quietly approaching the door. I peeked through the peephole. There was no one there. I opened the door just a crack, enough to see my empty porch. No package, no note. Asterisk, but as I was about to close the door, something caught my eye. Across the street, their front door was still wide open. Asterisk, the house swallowed by darkness. And standing just inside that doorway was the tall silhouette. Motionless, facing directly toward me. I quickly shut and locked my door. Asterisk, I couldn't take my eyes off that house. I waited. Minutes passed. Asterisk, but the silhouette never moved. Asterisk, I forced myself to walk away from the door, convincing myself that if I just stayed inside, I'd be safe. But safety was an illusion. Around 3 a.m., I woke up to the sound of footsteps. Asterisk, inside my house. They were slow, deliberate. Asterisk, each step echoing through the quiet. I couldn't breathe. I lay frozen in bed, clutching my blanket like a child. The footsteps stopped outside my bedroom door. Silence. Asterisk. I stared at the faint outline of the door in the dim moonlight filtering through my window. Asterisk, and then a whisper, a soft voice. "You shouldn't have opened the box." The voice was cold, unfamiliar, and far too close. I wanted to scream. but my voice was caught in my throat. Suddenly, the door creaked open a few inches. There was no one there. No footsteps leaving. No retreating shadow. Just emptiness. Asterisk, I didn't sleep for the rest of the night. Asterisk, when the sun finally rose, I searched the house from top to bottom. All doors locked. All windows closed. No sign anyone had been inside. But when I checked my front porch, the box was back, sitting exactly where it had been before. Asterisk, only this time. It was open, and inside was something new. A single Polaroid photograph, asterisk A. Picture of me, sleeping in my bed, taken from inside my room.